Card King, here I come. Hello, music fans, music collectors, and all hobbyists. Welcome to the Card King Sports and Variety Show. I'm your host, the Catman, Brian Cataquet, a.k.a. the Card King. We are live on ABC's KMET 1490am.com, your number one spot right here for news and talk on the West Coast. I thank everyone for tuning in this morning. On the telephone line, I welcome to the program lead vocalist, rhythm guitarist, songwriter, at Richrath Project 313. I welcome in the great Michael Jahnz. Michael, Brian C., thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me there, Brian.
My pleasure. Michael, I want to begin. Let's talk about your early beginnings in music. You hail from the Midwest. What
Yes,
drew you into music and wanting to become a performer?
Well, I've always had the musical background with my family and friends and stuff growing up. And I always had those dreams about being a rock star someday, and couldn't get it out of my blood. So I started at an early age, around 12 years old. I played bass guitar and did some vocals. So it started out way early. Then later on, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And later through the years, I had formed local bands and stuff like that in the Midwest area. And around 1982, 83, I got hooked up with a band called Badfinger that needed an opening act. So we went out and toured the East Coast. Being from the Wisconsin area, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we went out to the East Coast and was pretty shocked on life experiences in this business. So did that for a few months and met some interesting characters with Badfinger and had a relationship with Tony Kaye from Yes, because he was actually playing keyboards at the time and for Badfinger. And, it kept on growing. We kept on doing more things. Eventually, we made it out to Los Angeles, California, where we decided to hang our hats out there and try to make it in the business in the mid-'80s. And that was where rock was really interesting out there. It was a whole different ball game. So we played the circuit out there for many years, and one day we ran into a guy named Gary Richrath, the lead guitarist for REO Speedwagon, and that was toward the end of the 80s, 88, 89. And he took a liking to my vocals and what I was all about with some of my songwriting, and kind of took me under his wing and did some demos that he was going to use on the newer REO album that was coming out, and asked me if I'd do background vocals. Then it turned into lead vocals, and then there was some disagreements in the band between him and Kevin, and he went on a solo act. So I became his front man and lead singer for the Richrath band, and that was we did an early release in 1992, I believe, and toured pretty much extensively on and off through the 90s. And that's where I got all these things going on to present day. Had different formats of different bands, but we always stuck to the REO roots. Through that time period, I when I was still with Gary, he wanted me to start playing rhythm guitar, so I picked up. He actually taught me how to play rhythm guitar pretty well, and what a better teacher than Gary, and just worked with him on songs and creativity, and had several times we were in the studio doing different demos, and the album came out for Only the Strong Survive in 92, and then toward the end of our relationship in the 2000s, we kind of went our separate ways again. Unfortunately, in his passing, I had a lot of the demos and a lot of the things that were recorded previously, and the record company I was dealing with that did Only the Strong Survive asked me if I'd do a new release. And so we started working on it prior to COVID in 2019, and had all the stuff re-recorded out in Los Angeles. And when COVID hit, it was kind of a done deal right there. We had to everything stopped, and then we picked it up in 2020, and here we are in 2021. So,
yeah,
our new album just came out August 6th, and we're out on the road right now trying to promote the album.
Yeah, I heard excerpts of the album. Congratulations. I mean, it's great work, and we're going to play a few of the tracks here in a bit. Just a question on Gary. How did you guys meet?
We met in I lived in a town called Thousand Oaks, California. He was living in Malibu. He had a ranch there, and then he moved over to another town that's real close to mine. It was like right next to each other. It was called Newbury Park. So we were kind of in the same area, and it just by chance we ran into each other. And like I said, he asked if he could jam with us, and we said, well, yeah, of course. So he came, and we had our band out there that moved out there from the Midwest, and we had a house and a studio out there, and we just, we had a rehearsal studio, and he came in and started jamming with us, and one thing led to another, and it just, we had a real good relationship. I mean, it was really a good hookup. I mean, it was unbelievable. We had a real good same kind of beliefs in music and stuff like that, and then he sold a few records with that other band he was in, so he kind of knew what he was doing. So he taught me a heck of a lot of things. So.
Yeah, I mean, that album, High Infidelity, it sold more than 10 million albums. So
right.
The guy was an expert, a genius in what he was doing.
Right, I know. It's like, and so like, how could you pass up the opportunity? And he was, he was a phenomenal man. He was a great friend, but he was just a really good person. And then on top of the whole package, he knew how to play guitar and write songs. So, he was probably one of the greatest guitarists I've ever played with in my life. He's amazing, and like I said, the friendship went along with it. So it was really cool to work with somebody that was your friend that had that much things going for him. And High Infidelity, like we did a lot of stuff when we first started touring. All we did was Gary stuff and then new stuff, and he had some tracks that he was going to put on previous albums. Like when we did Only the Strong Survive. Only the Strong Survive was a song that he did on Nine Lives album, and then we also did In Your Letter, which was on High Infidelity. But there were several songs that he never got a chance to put on there, and one of them was Hollywood, which turned out to be a really good song for us. And it's got the same structure. I mean, you can hear it with all the hits that REO does. And then through those years, we had all these other stuff. We had so many songs we couldn't put them on an album. So. Fortunately, I had a lot of those, and we took all his demos and all my demos, and we kind of reworked them and digitally pulled his guitar out of them. And then now, like the single "Help Me Save Me from Myself" is a real good thing about Gary's life, and I think that people will listen to it and get a real good understanding kind of what was going on. And then on top of it, we threw some of the vocals that he saw in me when he first met me, and I had that vocal ability that he was searching for, I think, for years with REO, and it just kind of worked out real well. So.
And Michael, on those old demos, you have some of the original those riffs that Gary performed. Now, on that demo, do you have some of his original riffs?
Oh, it's all Gary's guitar on those demos. I mean, on the new album.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, the whole
on the new album. Okay.
When you hear "Help Me Save Me from Myself," that's Gary's guitar all the way through there. So, and then we have another song. Another song is "LA Is Mine." That's all him, and then there's one more called "These Nights." And then the other ones were collaborations that Gary and I worked with. We worked on together. But those were actual songs that I actually could pull those guitars off the demos.
So you've been working on this project on and off, right? Quite a few years now.
Yes. I mean, on and off. I've done. We go out and like last night we just played in Dayton, Ohio, and like I said, the fans have been waiting for new stuff from Gary forever. I mean, there's so many people that are, God, this is great. You're putting out stuff for Gary, and he'd be so happy because after he passed away, like there was so much I think needed to be said. But so I'm trying to keep his legacy alive, and I'm trying to do this stuff. But the fans still love the older stuff, and we do it all. I mean, we do the new stuff, we do the old stuff, Golden Country, Riding the Storm Out. On this album that you listen to, we redid Son of a Poor Man and also Riding the Storm Out the way they did it in the 70s. So, I mean, my engineer kind of went back and listened to the way they did things back in the 70s and kind of did it old school, and they're rocking. I mean, they're just hard rocking songs that people really, really appreciate. So you get the best of both worlds. And on that being said too, I think Kevin was a really good songwriter himself, and we do some of the stuff that he did. So we do it all. I mean, we do it all, and we try to do a little bit of a thing for everybody. We do compliments to Kevin and Gary.
Well, let's hear a little bit of this promo mix we have. Let's play it now. Let's play it now for the audience.
Okay, great. This is, I think, help me see yourself.
Okay.
Oh, that's art.
So waiting for that thaw out on the full moon night in the Rocky Mountain wind. Don't let it go. Just give me a chance to go. Take it easy, take it slow. Now don't let go. Don't let go. 'Cause I'm gonna keep on loving you. 'Cause it's the only thing I want to do, yeah. I don't wanna sleep. I say walk in the 7 rivers out of Avenue, yeah. Heard it from a friend, too. Heard it from a friend, too. Heard it from another you've been messing around. Take it on the run, baby. That's the way you want it, baby. And do what you want. If you're tired of the same old story, whoa, turn some pages. 'Cause if you're here and you are ready, roll with the changes, baby. Roll with the changes. Whoa, keep pushing on. That's what I say, people. Everybody, keep pushing. I keep pushing. I keep pushing. Keep pushing on. Come on, everybody, keep pushing. I keep pushing. Keep pushing on. That's what I said now. It's time for me to fly. It's time for me to fly. It's time for me.
Well, I mean, there you go. The classics, the music of REO Speedwagon, a tribute by Richrath Project 313. With us is the lead vocalist, Michael Jahnz. Michael, great work. I mean, you sound very energetic. Your vocals sound very strong. I mean, where can the audience purchase this new release? Do you have a website? Is it on Amazon?
Oh, yeah, it's just about everywhere right now. It's streaming everywhere. It's on Amazon. You can get it at the Walmart, Target, all the .coms. You can get it anywhere. Dark Star Records is a record company. You can go to our website at richrathrocks.com, and you can go to Facebook page, YouTube. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, you can't miss it. But it's richrathrocks.com, and it's LA is Mine is the name of the CD, and it's Richrath Project 313. And the single that we just put out is Help Me Save You From Myself. And like I said, pick it up, listen to it, rock out to it, and tell us what you think.
No, I mean, it's great work. And just a couple of more. I mean, Gary's he was a very underrated guitarist. I mean, he's very underrated.
Definitely. I mean, that's one of the things that I learned so much from, like I said. But I mean, we everywhere we go, I guess the grassroots is what Gary was all about, and he constantly we play everywhere, and there were so many people that appreciated him because he had so much personality, and it's like he went and tried to meet everybody and talk to everybody, and everywhere I go now, just like when we were on the road with Gary when Gary was alive, he stood out. He was the face of REO Speedwagon. He was the sound of REO Speedwagon, in my opinion, and everybody loved him. And he was the guy. And like I said again, his playing ability when you listen to a REO song right away, it's the guitar that cuts through. So. And again, to play with him, I was very honored, and I was very lucky that I got the opportunities. And this is our little way of trying to give back to him. So.
And Michael, during your conversations together with Gary, did he ever tell you what was the reason, the true reason of the breakup? I read somewhere that he wanted to go a different direction. Kevin wanted to do more ballads. He wanted to rock more. Is that actual fact?
Well, that's pretty much 100%. I mean, there was a lot of other things that went along with it, but the real thing is that when it came down to the music, as you can listen to the new LA Is Mine CD, we kind of did that. We did more of a rocker thing, and it's like we went back to, like I said, we went back to the early days when it was just rock and roll. And but see, that's the thing that's so weird, because even though Gary was the rocking force of REO Speedwagon, he still knew how to write really, really great ballads, like Taking on the Run. I mean, that's one of the best songs ever, you know. So I mean, you kind of have the best of both worlds with Gary too, but he still loved to rock, and I think he needed to do that, and he wasn't given that opportunity to do it. So, and with this, we gave him all the opportunity. So it's through me and this new band that we got. Everybody is rocking out like crazy. I mean, Dennis Pockets is my new guitarist. That he is like he looks up to Gary all the time. He watches all the videos. He just loves Richrath. You know, he idolizes him. So I mean, you can hear it in his playing. Last night when we did a show last night, it was just nonstop. You know, they wanted to hear more of Gary's guitar through Dennis, and it's like it's quite cool. Really good.
Well, that's important, Michael. Talk about the band members, the current band members.
Yes, well, we have Andy Conover on drums, and he's a hard rocking drummer from the Midwest. Excuse me. And then we have Doug Jansen, who plays bass, and he's also from the Midwest. Dennis Pockets is our lead guitarist and fills in for the late great Gary Richrath. And you'll never be disappointed by Dennis. And then we also have Scott Weber plays keyboards. And like I said, I do all the I'm the head of the party, as they say, and we try to make sure that everybody has a great night, and they can experience all the stuff from old to new. And no one's ever disappointed when they leave our shows.
I mean, no, like I said, I mean, it's great material. Do you ever miss? Do you miss the mid '80s? I mean, that was my generation. Do you miss the mid '80s?
Yeah, I miss it a lot. Sometimes that's why we had some troubles getting on Skype this morning. Okay, that kind of tells you my where I'm from. I'm an '80s guy. You know, that's what I do. Everything's '80s. So, but I mean,
right,
it was a great time period.
Like you mentioned, you had aspirations of moving to the West Coast, LA. Did you ever consider New York City?
Well, when we did the Badfinger tour, we went out to New York, and it was definitely different. We played in Greenwich Village, and we did the whole East Coast. And we're actually in November. We're scheduled to go back out on the East Coast for a tour. But I never got a chance to go out to LA. And in 1985, I moved out there, and it kind of like freaked me out. Especially when you're going down Sunset Boulevard and competing with all those bands. But I turned into that was like my second home. I go back to Thousand Oaks like nonstop. I'm always there. So it's my second home now. So I mean, I love California more than anything. And it's the '80s. I mean,
No, go ahead. This is your show. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I said that's just the '80s for me. I just went out there just recently. I was just back there like a week and a half ago, and it just kind of grows on you out there. I mean, the people out there. I look at it like there's a lot of people that are disappointed with things out there, but I'm not. I love California, and I've always been there through the years. Since 1985, I've been there back and forth every chance I get. So. But
I'm just trying to think, picture myself. I mean, 1983, I'm a 10-year-old kid. But, I mean, with all those bands back then, it was the era of Motley Crue, Rat. With all those competition, what did you do at the time to be different?
I'll tell you a story. Okay, this is a good one. We were from the Midwest, and we actually, really played our instruments and tried to, do stuff the right way. When we moved out to California in '85, it was almost like the glam band central. Nobody really played. They just looked really good on stage. The big hair, the spandex pants, and everything else. And we did Rush songs, believe it or not. We were a progressive band, and we were a three-piece band. And we couldn't compete with all that stuff, but we tried. And we'd go play Gazzarri's, and we'd play the Roxy and the Troubadour and the Whiskey A Go-Go. We played all those places out there. And then what would happen is toward the end of the night, everybody's just, you do like a 45-minute set. right at the end we'd throw in a Rush song and people would freak out. It's like, what the heck? They're actually playing this stuff, So it was kind of fun. And then next thing you know, we get asked to do another show and another show just from doing the more talented musician kind of stuff. But like that all changed when I met Gary because we went into a different direction from the progressive rock. So, but I like it. I like it all. I like all music. So that's how that works.
But I mean, the early '80s, there was no internet, there was no social media. What did you do to promote your band? Like, what did you do? You hang up posters in the streets?
Yeah, you had to make flyers, and you had a really good staple gun, and you'd put it up on the post on all the posts up at the boulevard, and you'd run out of staples all the time, or you get your stapler gun would be broken, So, but yeah, that's what you did. That's it, and you'd have people, and you'd go, try to sell tickets, and it sucked. It just absolutely sucked. But you'd buy different amounts of tickets, and then you'd sell tickets to your concerts, and it was a definitely interesting thing. And when all the bands are competing at all those places, Friday and Saturday nights on Sunset Boulevard was crazy. I mean, it was just nothing but people walking up and down the street. And then you'd go to see your band, or you'd go try to get into another club, and if you had tickets, you can get in. If you didn't, there was thousands of other people trying to get in. So.
Amazing. Final question. If there was one collaborator, one person that you would like to do a song with, who would it be?
Well, like I said, I've had a lot of different influences, and somebody that I said this once before, somebody that I probably would have no chance of doing it would be Diane Warren, but I don't think I'd ever be able to get to that level with her. But again, she's like phenomenal. She writes so many wonderful songs, and I hear it all the time. So I try to shoot for the stars, and that's kind of like the story of my life. I've been doing this for so long, and we just keep on pushing that boulder up the hill. So maybe someday I'll be fortunate enough to do some songs with her.
Amazing. Well, you're definitely a superstar. And before I let you go, if you can just give us the website, your new release, and upcoming tours.
Okay, the website is richrathrocks.com. You can also find us on Facebook that way. You can get the album is LA Is Mine, and it's Richrath Rocks, or just Richrath Project 313. You can find it at any Amazon, Walmart, Target. It's all downloaded. You can get it just about anywhere. You can find it on Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube. I mean, it's all over everywhere. It's Dark Star Records. And our tour thing right now is we just got done playing in Dayton, Ohio last night, and we're going to Detroit, Michigan this evening. So hopefully we're doing a show, I believe it's tomorrow in Detroit. Then we're going to be back in Wisconsin. We're doing a couple more festivals before it gets too cold. And then we're playing in Illinois. So, I mean, you can check all the tour dates on our website. And, hopefully we'll be somewhere by you guys soon.
Well, we hope to see you soon. Have a safe trip. Pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on your radio.
My pleasure. That was lead vocalist, rhythm guitarist, songwriter at Richrath Project 313, superstar vocalist, superstar guitarist, Michael Jahnz. Until next week, happy collecting to all.